Jai Hind students, welcome to physics class of grade 12. I think all of you would be fine at your home. Last time we discussed the concept of parallel plate capacitor and capacity of a parallel plate capacitor. Today we will discuss if between the plates of a capacitor, parallel plate capacitor, if we introduce a dielectric, will the capacity increase or decrease? Let's check it out. What happens then? So, let us say we are having a parallel plate capacitor. This is the parallel plate capacitor. Plus Q is the charge on X plate and minus Q is the charge on Y plate. If A is the area of cross section of each plate, then its surface charge density of this plate is plus sigma and of this plate is minus sigma. And let us say D is the separation between the plates. Now, if a dielectric slab of thickness T is introduced between the plates of capacitor. This is the dielectric. Its thickness is T. It is introduced between the plates of capacitor. D is the total distance. What will happen to this? All of us know that here positive charge, negative charge will be introduced here, and here positive negative charge. So here positive charge, it will be introduced here. So as a result of this, electric field, it will have its reduced value. Now, between the plates of capacitor, we are having the two regions. In one region, there is dielectric that I have drawn with the blue ink, and the remaining portion where there is vacuum. So, let us say for vacuum, electric field is E. Potential is V0. And what is the thickness of this region? Total thickness is D. Out of this, T thickness is occupied by the dielectric. So how much is left? D minus T thickness is left. And if I talk about the dielectric, let us say electric field within dielectric is E, potential difference is V, and the thickness is T. Right? Now all of us know that electric field in vacuum divided by electric field in a medium equals to dielectric constant. So therefore we can write E equals to E naught by K. And second point is, in Gauss law, what we did? We did that these are two infinitely long plates, plain sheets of the chart. Electric field is sigma by epsilon naught. Right? Between these two regions, it is sigma by epsilon naught. So E naught, it equal to sigma by epsilon naught. What is sigma? Sigma is charge upon area by epsilon naught. Now, total potential difference between plates of capacitor. How much is this? V because of vacuum V dielectrics, we represented vacuum for V naught and dielectric simply by V. Now we know that electric field equal to electric potential upon में distance. This we have done. Relation between electric field and electric potential. Electric field is the negative of potential gradient. I am not using negative sign because I am not concerned with its direction. So it equals to V naught plus में V. Now what is V naught? Now V naught, it is equal to E naught. So then what will be V? V will be equal to E multiplied by the D. So here electric field is E naught, and what is the thickness of this region? Thickness of this region is D minus T. So I will write it here as D minus T. And what about for the dielectric? Dielectric field is E and the thickness is T. Right? Now here E equals to E naught by T. So let me write E naught D minus T plus E naught by K into T. Now what is this? E naught is Q by A epsilon naught multiplied by D minus T, and what about this V? It equals to what is E naught? Here E naught is again Q by A epsilon naught T, and also there is a factor of K. So this is the VT, that is total potential difference. Now what is the capacity? What will be the total capacity? Total capacity will be equal to charge divided by total V. So charge is Q, and let me put up the value of this Vt. Now let me take the factors which are common here. Q by A epsilon naught D minus T plus T by K, because Q A epsilon naught common, here D minus T, and here what is left? T by K is left. So I have written here. So let me substitute here. Q by A epsilon naught D minus T plus T by K. Now students, what happens? This Q get cancelled. It is denominator to denominator, so it will be shifted into numerator. I can write A epsilon naught divided by D minus T divided by T plus K. So this is the net capacity of a parallel plate capacitor if dielectric slab is introduced between its plates. Now, so what you can conclude from here? Is this capacity more when no dielectric is placed between its plate, or is it less? It is more. Why? Because K is greater than 1. So what will happen? T is greater than T by K. So numerator decreases, so capacity will increase. So let's discuss a few points about this. Number one, not number one. Now in this case, capacity is greater than capacity when no dielectric is present between the plates of capacitor. So what does it mean? It means if dielectric constant is increased, definitely capacity of parallel plate capacitor, it will increase. Second point is, if D equals to T, that is, if thickness T, if dielectric slab is completely placed between the plates of capacitor, then what will happen? Put in this expression, what will be the total capacity will become? A epsilon naught divided by, here D, T and D are same, so D minus T equals to D plus D by K. This D get cancelled, so I can put K here, K, A epsilon naught by D. What does it mean? This means that dielectric with the if the dielectric slab is completely placed between the plates of parallel plate capacitor, it means that total capacity, it becomes K times the capacity if no medium is present between the plates of parallel plate capacitor. Third point is, it is very, very important. What is this third point? Capacity of parallel plate capacitor in the presence of dielectric divided by C naught, it becomes equal to K. What is the K? K is the dielectric constant. It is very, very important. Sometimes question comes, define dielectric constant in terms of the capacity. So dielectric constant of a medium can be defined as ratio of capacity of a capacitor when dielectric slab is introduced between its plates to the capacity of same capacitor when there is free space between the plates of capacitor. So in this way we can define the dielectric constant. So these are the points that we must remember. That is, if I introduce the dielectric slab between the plates of capacitor, definitely its capacity, it will increase. Now question is that instead of dielectric slab, what happens if we put a conducting slab between the plates of capacitor? So let's take it out. Will the capacity will further increase? Will it decrease? Let's take it out. So the effect of conducting slab, effect of conducting slab on the capacity of parallel plate capacitor. Let us say again we are having a parallel plate capacitor. Again on the inner sides plus Q charge, here minus Q charge, here there is plus sigma, and here minus sigma is the surface charge density. Let us say A is the area of each plate and D is the separation between the plates. Now let a conducting slab of thickness T is introduced between plates of parallel plate capacitor. What happens in this case? Let's check it out. Now, what will be the total potential difference between plates of capacitor? Let us say this is Vt. It equals to, for vacuum, plus potential difference for conducting slab, right? Now for conducting slab, let us say this potential difference is V naught, and here for conducting slab potential difference is 0. Why? Because conducting slab is an equipotential surface. For equipotential surface, V is 0. So I got V naught. And what will be V naught? We have done V equals to E by D, right? Therefore E equals to V into D. So what it will be? This Vt, it equals to E is V by D. So what will be E? Vd, that is V naught. And what is the thickness of vacuum? Here D minus T. Total is D. How much is left? D minus T is left. D minus T. And what is V naught here? V naught, it should be E naught, not V naught. Sorry. E naught. And what is E naught? All of us know. So sigma by epsilon naught D minus T. And what is sigma? Sigma equals to charge by A epsilon naught D minus T. So what this is? This is Vt. Now what is the total capacity in the presence of conducting slab? It equals to charge by Vt. Charge is Q. And what is Vt? A Q multiplied by D minus T over A epsilon naught. Q is cancelled. So I got A epsilon naught divided by D minus T. So, right? Not for dielectric slab. What we have done? What is the capacity? A epsilon naught D minus T plus T by K. And for conducting slab, what is this? It equals to A epsilon naught by D minus T. What does it mean? What does it mean? Denominator in case of dielectric slab is more, because there is a positive term of T by K and this term is not present. So I will say that capacity increases. Capacity increases more in conducting slab than dielectric slab. And what is the second point? If T equals to D, then what will be Ct? It will become infinity. If between the plates of a parallel plate capacitor, if entire space is filled with conducting slab, what will happen? Capacity, it will become infinity. So overall we can say that with the introduction of the conducting slab, the capacity of a parallel plate capacitor, it increases. So next topic we will do energy stored in a capacitor. Why there is a energy which is stored in a capacitor? Energy stored in a capacitor, right? Why there is an energy which is stored in a capacitor? Let us consider again a parallel plate capacitor. Let us say in the beginning this capacitor is uncharged and we want to charge it. What we do, from the plate Y we take positive charge and we give this positive charge to the X. Let us say we have taken a small positive charge dq and we have given it to the X. What will happen? In other words, you will say that some electrons from the X are removed and they are given to Y. What will happen? It will become positively charged and it will become negatively charged. So when it becomes positive charge, its potential will increase. Now after that, if I further come and try to remove the electrons, what will happen? The positive potential, it will attract the electrons and it will pose a difficulty in removing the electrons. And if I give these electrons to this, the negative potential will repel those electrons. So again I have to do the work. So what I am saying, in terms of positive charge, I have taken a small positive charge from the plate Y and I have given it to the plate X. So the X, it carries positive charge, now Y carries negative charge. Now further, if I take charge from the plate Y and if I want to give it to the X, what will happen? The positive potential of X, it will oppose this. And if I want to give the charge to the plate X, I have to do the work because of its electric potential. And that work done is stored in the form of the potential energy. So let's find out the potential energy stored in a capacitor. So let us say after doing this work, it becomes plus Q charge minus Q charge, X carries positive potential and Y carries negative potential. Let us say potential becomes V. Now what is the work done? I know that V, it equals to work done per unit charge. Therefore dW, it equals to V multiplied by the dq. V multiplied by the dq. Right? Now, as we know this, Q it equals to CV, therefore V equals to Q by C, and hence I can write dW equals to Q by C multiplied by dQ. Now total work done can be found by integrating this equation. So total work done can be found by integrating above equation. Integrating above equation. Integration of dW, limits 0 to W, Q by C multiplied by dQ. What are the limits of the charge? 0 to Q. Let us say it carries the charge Q. So limits are 0 to Q. After charging, the capacitor requires the charge Q. Alright? So C is the constant. Let's take the constant outside. Now, what is the integration of this? W, limits 0 to W, and 1 by C constant, Q dQ, limits 0 to Q. Now 1 by C, what is its integration? We have done xn dx integration xn plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So here what is this? Here n is 1, 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1, 0 to Q. So I can say W minus 0, it equals to 1 by C, it is Q square by 2, limits 0 to Q. If I try to open this, 1 by C, Q square by 2 minus 0 square by 2, I can say this work done, it equals to Q square by 2C. This work done, it equals to Q square by 2C. Now this work done is stored in the form of potential energy. So I can say that work done is stored in the form of potential energy, and it is equal to Q square by 2C. So this is the expression of the potential energy. Further, as U potential energy equal to Q square by 2C. Now, but Q equals to CV, therefore U equals to, in place of Q I will write CV square by 2C. So U it equals to half CV square. This is another expression. And again Q is Q square by 2C. What is C? C is Q over V. 1 Q get cancelled, so I can say half QV. So again, so I can say potential energy, I am having the three formulas: Q square over 2C, half QV, and 1 by 2 CV square. This expression is very, very important, and these formulas are also very important. Now I will tell you how does the potential energy varies and what question is being asked in your exams. So I think it's clear. Now let me discuss the variation of potential energy. So let's discuss how does the potential energy varies with different factors. Number one, U equals to Q square by 2C. What does it mean? It means that if C is constant, I can say U is directly proportional to Q square. If Q is constant, I can say potential energy is inversely proportional to C. If you draw the graph, you can draw this graph. This is U and Q. Graph will be of this shape. Here C is constant. And what is the graph between U and C? U, C, the graph is of this shape. The graph, it is of this shape. And here what is constant? Here charge is constant. And if U is constant, what can I say? I can say that Q square by 2C is constant. What does it mean? Q square is directly proportional to C, or C is directly proportional to Q square. What is the graph between capacity and the charge? This graph is straight line. Here Q square. And if I say what is the graph between C and Q, it will be of this shape. Alright? Second point is, similarly U equals to half CV square. So what does it mean? If capacity constant, U is directly proportional to V square. I think its graph can be plotted. That here U and here V, graph will be of this shape. Second is, if V constant, then U is directly proportional to C. So what is the graph between U and C? Like this. And third is, if U is constant, what will happen? Product of CV square constant. So what does it mean? C is inversely proportional to V square. Third is QV. U equals to half of QV. I think U is directly proportional to Q. If V constant, U is directly proportional to V. If Q constant, and third one is, if U is constant, potential energy of a capacitor is constant, I can say Q is inversely proportional to V. And this graph it comes. Draw the graph between potential and V, provided potential energy of a capacitor is constant. In that case, we have to draw the graph of inversely proportional. So this was the energy stored in a capacitor. Now there is a very important topic, and one question has come directly in the NEET examination. What is that question? Energy density of a parallel plate capacitor. Energy density of a parallel plate capacity. What is the energy density? Energy density means energy stored per unit volume. So energy stored per unit volume of a parallel plate capacitor is called the energy density. So let us say small u, it represents energy density. It is equal to potential energy of a parallel plate capacitor divided by its volume. Right? If I am considering a parallel plate capacitor, A is the area, D is the separation between the plates, plus Q charge here, minus Q charge here. So, right? So let us say C is the capacity, V is potential, and charge I have already mentioned. Alright? So what is the potential energy? Half CV square, and what is the volume? Area multiplied by the length. So what is this? U, it equals to half CV square. What is the capacity of a parallel plate capacitor? Epsilon naught A by D V square upon A D. Right? Now, what is the relation between electric field and potential? Electric field is negative of potential difference, negative of potential gradient. So, in place of V, what can I write? So, half epsilon naught A by D, in place of V, I will write V square by D square multiplied by A D. Now, is it correct? It's incorrect. Why? Because E equals to V by D. So what will be V? V equals to E into D. So there is a mistake. So this energy density per unit volume, half epsilon naught A D, it is ED square AD. Now let's cancel the common terms. A is cancelled. If we further solve, epsilon naught E square D square D by D square, it's also get cancelled. Half of epsilon naught E square. So energy density of a parallel plate capacitor is half of epsilon naught E square. But E is the electric field. Right? Then what will be the potential energy? U was U by AD volume, that is, so potential energy is U multiplied by volume. So I can say half of epsilon naught E square AD. So this question was asked in the NEET, that what is the potential energy in terms of electric field? You can tick on this choice that it is the potential energy in terms of the electric field. Though we have derived expression for parallel plate capacitor, this expression is applicable for all the capacitors. Right? So this is the energy density of a parallel plate capacitor. Alright? So that's all for today. In the next lecture, we will discuss the combination of capacitors, and after combination we will do lots of the problems, numericals, which are based on this concept of capacitor. Thank you and have a nice day.